Welcome, everyone, to the Black and White History Podcast. We are your hosts, Christian,
Why'd you
and
say it all weird like that?
because I can only say it
You said it all weird.
so many times.
I'm excited for war.
Move this here. Um, and I'm joined by my trusty sidekick.
Why am I the same? I know why.
Wah, wah.
Because 1846.
Yeah.
I'm
We're not at that war yet.
almost. Yeah. We're getting close. We're setting the stage. I was thinking about this. Like, obviously the generals, like the soldiers, they weren't like generals, but they were officers during this war. And the soldiers and like the soldiering techniques and being a professional army, they really cut their teeth in this war. And really, because in 15 years, 46 to when the Civil War started?
61, 65 or something like that.
Yeah, so in like 10 or 15 years, we use all this practice, all this training that we did for our Civil War.
To kill each other.
Hey, you know how we work together to kick the Mexicans out of and steal their land? We're going to do that to each other now. Isn't that great? The Mexican-American War is super important, very seldom discussed in depth.
Yes.
I wonder if that's like because we're up in the north and we're like, that happened down there. That doesn't have much to do with us.
It seems like because that's not the only war that's like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like everyone talks about the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talks about Civil War, World War I, World War II, kind of Vietnam War, and then it gets too modern for it to count.
We skip Korea.
Yeah, so yeah. And then there's definitely this
Spanish-American War.
Yeah, there's these pockets that just kind of get neglected because they're probably just too close to the next big war that happened. Because this war was only like 15 years before the Civil War, and that's such a bigger thing.
And it did happen in the backdrop of like this is the rising tension for the Civil War. Yeah. So it's not talked about.
It's like the pre-game show.
It is. This is like the playoffs before the Super Bowl of wars.
That's true. Yeah. And then the War of 1812 is the preseason. Nobody cares.
Yes. So. Like, it didn't really count.
Yeah. It's actually a good analogy.
We didn't win or lose anything. It doesn't count.
Yep.
We didn't really play our hearts out. Like, half the country didn't want to fight the war. So it's just like the second string guys.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, well, we're just going to start the regular season for the Mexican-American War. I was like, all right, fine.
So, this is a pretty underrated war.
Yeah.
It's like,
8 out of 10 war.
Yeah.
I'd say 7.
I'd do it again.
Please round it up again. We're taking Baja. No, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say this is about a 6 out of 10 war, for a few reasons. Number one, it was kind of a thrashing on the America kind of steamrolled Mexico.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
That was about a year and a half.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
okay.
That was the main one because it wasn't very everyone likes an underdog. Mm-hmm. Think of World War One, like the great European powers, and then the U.S. comes in, and we kind of but we come in on the tail end, and we have an effect, but it was mostly the Europeans who did it. Then World War II, we come in, we're fighting on 2 fronts, that's the real Sis Boom Ba America war, and then we drop the sun on a whole country and incinerate a bunch of people. That's cool, and then the wars get kind of messy after that. But this is kind of like the first war with a more industrialized, organized, well-supplied, well-equipped American army.
Yeah, there's a more objective goal to it, which is with the War of 1812. It's just
capture Canada.
Yeah, and there's 4 different things going on, and these native tribes and Canada and Britain and
and
half burned down,
and half the North doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, and people don't even want to be in the So this is more of Mexico, we need the top part of Mexico, and they're getting into their own civil war basically, or I guess their own independent war against Cuba. So why don't let's start kind of what's the backdrop? Let's start there.
Yeah, so we kind of touched on it in the last episode, but just briefly to re-summarize. So in the 1820s, Mexico wins their independence from Spain. And Mexico at the time, throw up the graphic, Mexico at the time is big. It's about the same size, maybe a little bigger of landmass to the current United States. And it's California, it's Texas, it's Wyoming, parts of Colorado, Oregon and Washington, that whole swath of land, all the way down to Central America, Like it's a massive area. Yeah. So Mexico is newly joined America as a massive North American landmass, independent country from Spain. And they had all the same problems that the US had, but the advantage that we had was that we were in like a 100-mile stretch along the coast with decent farmland and like reasonable, infrastructure. Like the Jamestown colonies had been around for what 100 years roughly. Then we
Yeah.
declared independence. And if you've ever been to the southwest of the United States, or Mexico or Texas, it's a whole lot of nothing, and it's hot, and it's rocks and
Yeah.
dirt and scorpions and snakes, and nothing grows there except for crappy grass. And so, like, you don't think lush farmland. Maybe it's just because I'm not from Texas and never been there, but you don't, in the American Southwest, you don't think lush green fields and farmland. You think this is a wasteland that no one should live in. Like, there's a reason the Fallout series is based in like that area because nothing. It's already a wasteland. It's really easy to render and computer generate. But yeah, Mexico had the same problems that we did, like forming their own country, but their landmass was so massive. So they had no economy. Their government was a shambles, and they had no money and no soldiers. And they had environmental threats, like it's hard to live out there. They had Native American tribes who, anytime someone would settle over there, they'd get raided. It was really, really rough. And they go through from like 1820 to 1830. Like their government changes hands like 30 or 40 times. Santa Anna keeps coming up over and over again. He's like a
Yeah. Let's get into him. There's a
he's like a
lot.
Napoleon figure, like military
The
dictator.
dollar store Napoleon.
Yeah,
Napoleon, but like not successful at
he's like a
all.
great value Napoleon. He like gets exiled and then comes back, but still sucks. And
Yeah, so he was like the president multiple times through the course of like a couple decades.
yeah, like 20 years,
Yeah.
30 years or so.
And he is overseeing a lot of this, and there's a bunch of we haven't even entered America yet. So this is all conflict happening just with Mexico and Cuba, that's who Spain is, having the fight with and everything. And he ends up getting, I guess, around time of the Alamo.
Yeah, the mid 18, like the late 1830s, early 1840s. So, well, see, we're jumping ahead again. So in like the 1820s and 30s, the Mexican government, such as it was, basically said we have a whole lot of land and it belongs to us, but possession is 9/10 of the law. And so if you can't establish like colonies or cities or commerce to trade back and forth, like is the land really yours? Technically, yes, but if you can't defend it, is it really yours? And so they make a call to the Americans and say, hey, using this northern province that we have, they call it Tejas with a J. This northern province,
Which means
it means friend.
friend.
So the province of friends, ironic. They say, okay, come settle this land. You'll be Mexican citizens. You'll have a measure of autonomy. Like you're on the frontier. It's similar to like what we did in Manifest Destiny. Like if you can get out here and establish a homestead, like it's your land basically. They did a similar kind of deal, and so Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, what he brought a whole bunch of people. Was like, sure, bet we'll settle this area, and it was not easy. Like they had to deal with the environment and the raids and all that stuff. And the Mexican government did not, and the Mexican army didn't have the money to pay soldiers to buy good equipment. So basically, they're out there by themselves, having to defend this area and self-sustain without a lot of direct help from the Mexican government. And they do eventually stabilize in that area, that province, Tejas. And then in the early 1830s, they're like, hey, we're kind of running our own kind of little mini country state thing here. We want to be independent and have our own land. Like we've settled this. It kind of belongs to us. Possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
And the Mexican government said, absolutely not, under no circumstances. This is Mexico. You are Mexican citizens and you're under Mexican law. And they said, well, why don't you come take it?
Yeah.
Why don't you come enforce the rules? In true Texas style. I looked up kind of how like we got from Tejas to Texas, and basically like English speakers just sort of screwed up the pronunciation and it stuck. Like, how do you pronounce this? Tejas. You mean Texas?
Yeah.
I was gonna call it Texas. All right.
They just
Yeah.
showed up and just developed Southern Texan accents immediately.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Like,
Straight,
it's like the Tower of Babel, but with
basically.
accents.
Yeah. Well, the Southern accent, interestingly enough, is like a derivative of the British accent.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
fun fact. I don't know how.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is with Mexico though. It's I guess there were still people colonizing there from Britain. There's kind of a hodgepodge of
No, no, not like the Southern accent was already established, and then when they met with the Mexicans, we just didn't care how they pronounced it, and we pronounced it how we wanted to. So Texas has always been like that. That's just from the start. They were always like that. So the war for Texas independence happened in around 1836, so the Texas Revolution,
Yep.
and they created the Republic of Texas. So, and it's kind of reflected in their constitution, like it's kind of buried in there. Like, yeah, we're a state of the United States, but we're actually like our own country. So if
very
we,
flimsy.
it's not legal,
Yeah.
but they really believe in it, and by thunder, they'll be really mad if you try to act like it's not true. It's not true. Like try to secede Texas, it's not going to work. But like that sort of Texas spirit of like we settled this, we established it. It's the American spirit. We settled this, we established it. Your laws are not applying. You're not helping us. We're going to just do our own thing because we're kind of doing it anyways. So that's when the Alamo happens, and Santa Anna is responsible for basically wiping out a whole, like all those people. Sam Houston comes and like, remember the Alamo? And he comes and takes back cities in that territory and basically fights the Mexican army back. And they're able to sort of establish a loose peace, a loose kind of stalemate. Mexico does not acknowledge that Texas is Texas and that it's independent. They're like, these are rogue breakaway people. It's illegal what they're doing. We don't recognize their borders. It's all Mexico. And Texas says, no, our border is the Rio Grande River, which just means big river. And Mexico says, no, it's the, how do you pronounce it again?
Yeah, the new Nucius
Nuches.
Nucius River.
Nuces, whatever. A different river, and it's like 150 miles difference between where the Rio Grande is south, and they say that, no, your border is actually all the way back here. So that sets up the stage for, that's 1836, 1837. That sets up the stage for annexing Texas and bringing it back into the United States. Because these people are Americans who have just immigrated to Mexico and created their own country, basically.
And yeah, I guess we should just repeat for if anyone didn't watch the Polk episode.
Which I don't blame them.
I would.
He's actually pretty good,
Polk.
but I don't blame them. You see James Polk, and you're like, I
who's
could,
that?
I could skip that one.
The whole debate, which had already been going on previous Polk, was, well, if we add Texas to the Union, then that's going to automatically be a slave state because of the Missouri Compromise, where states go back and forth on the state's new, okay, it's slave state. Next state, non-slave state. And so his plan was to make everybody happy, because that's kind of just what you had to do at this point.
The president has to do.
Yeah, is well, add Texas. They become a slave state. They get 2 senators. But for Northerners and abolitionists, we'll go ahead and add Oregon, the Oregon Territory, and we'll get that set up to be a slave or to be a free state. And then there. Now we're even again.
Ignoring the fact that Texas is way more convenient to get to, it has way more landmass.
Yeah.
Like it's a big old slave state. And the Oregon, Washington territories it's just the Oregon Territory, but it's way, way north and west. You have to cross a whole mountain range to get there. And basically, if you live in Louisiana, you can just sort of walk over to Texas. So it's not quite fair, but on paper, it's fair.
On paper, it's fair.
On paper, it's fair.
What else can you do?
Undergirding all that is a whole slavery thing. So if we're talking about fairness,
I mean, yeah.
but like on paper, it's fair. So yeah, that's the backdrop for the Mexican-American War. So the 1836 to 1846, that 10-year span. Martin Van Buren says, no, we're not going to annex Texas, because to annex Texas means to start a war with Mexico.
Yeah.
Because Mexico is hot under the collar about this Texas Revolution. They don't like it, and if the Americans try to come in and take it, you're stealing Mexican land, basically is
Well,
what they're
yeah, and
saying.
we're also like in the middle of a huge economic depression.
Yeah, we don't really have the stones to do that
Yeah,
at this point. So Martin Van Buren says, no, we're going to pass. William Henry Harrison says,
yeah.
he gets the sniffles and dies.
He dies before the document gets on his desk.
Yeah, before he even knows where
Yeah.
Mexico is. And then
John Tyler.
John Tyler is busy being lame.
He says he doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
want
because part of it, it's like no one. It's a unique plan with Polk because like no one put that on the table as an idea of let's just add two at the same time instead of so it's all just everyone's just like Texas, Texas, Texas. There's no Oregon isn't at all part of the picture. So yeah, obviously he's like, nah, I don't want to deal with it. Everyone already hates me.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna get like impeached and voted out of office at
Yeah.
this point if I make any more people mad.
So I'm just not going to do it. So Polk did have a very clever strategy to do two at the same time. He managed to pull it off by threatening a war with Britain, and Britain did not have the stomach for it for logistical and economic reasons. It's not only across the ocean, it's across an entire continent to get to that territory. So it's just screw it.
Do we want to get another third war?
Do I want another war with the
We're
Americans?
kind of just like
We lost the first one. We stalemated the second one. I don't want
just
to.
moved on.
Let's just be done with
We're
it.
like 8 prime ministers and like 6 presidents passed.
I don't want
the
to do
last
this
conflict.
Anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. So Polk is the one who actually pulls the trigger, pun intended, on annexing Texas, but he does it in a backhanded, sneaky, slimy kind of way. So he basically he sends troops to the
Yeah, so well, first he tried to pay for
yes
the rest of
yes
the.
he
Not just
tried
the
to do it
text.
legit.
Yeah, and they said no and walked without a counteroffer.
Yeah,
And
he
having
offered
him-
them like pennies for basically doubling the size of the country,
Yeah,
and Mexico needed the money.
and they still were like,
No,
no,
absolutely not.
no counteroffer, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, manifest destiny. You have to try to get as close. Let's colonize everything as close to the not even close, literally everything
Yeah,
to the
from
other
the Atlantic
ocean
to the Pacific.
Yeah. So he's a huge expansionist president, adds a bunch of states, and then now sets up for like, well, if we get this, I mean, that's a huge chunk. It's not just the Texas part, but now you're talking about like where New Mexico would be, Arizona, part of Colorado, part of Utah,
Wyoming,
like, yeah, part of Wyoming, part of like the majority of California,
Montana,
yeah, right, yeah. I mean, this is kind of
all
really,
of it. It's the rest of the country.
yeah, basically.
Throughout the graphic, it's half the country.
I don't know why I was putting it up. We already know what it looks like.
You're like, okay. No, do it in post. Do it in post.
So, yeah, they say no, and so then it's kind of
Now we do it. the
Politics
sneaky
got to
way.
politics. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Now we do it the sneaky way. So, remember that whole business about how Mexico said that the border is 150 miles north of where Texas says it is? So, Polk sends he sends like a couple thousand troops
Yeah.
to the Rio Grande, which is where Texas says the border is. Now, clearly, Mexico says that is deep in Mexican territory. It's not even a dispute, which they don't recognize the whole Texas thing at all. So this is already, according to them, in Mexican territory, but now deeper into Mexican territory. And Polk just tells it's Zachary Taylor.
Yeah.
He says, just hang out down there. Just hang out down there, see what happens. We're really just we're going to annex Texas, but we're going to take it nice and slow, just see what happens down there. And Mexico's like, you just marched 1,000 troops into my land, past the border where I said it was, 150 miles in. That would be like Canada marching to Seattle and then to Olympia
And then just
hanging out there. Eventually, someone in Rochester is going to be like, heck no, and get them Canadians out of here and start shooting at them. And that's exactly what happened. The Mexican army rolled by, did a good old fashioned drive by on the Americans, killed like 20 of them, captured a bunch more. But that was Polk's $10 doctor word, Latin word, casus belli.
Oh, okay.
It's a cause for war.
Okay.
Because basically, it's in poor taste to just be like, I want this land. I'm just going to take it.
You need a reason to
You
get
need
Congress
some
on board.
sort of reason.
Especially because, this is, we've talked about before, there
war
aren't
declarations.
war declarations. There hasn't been that many. This would only be the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The War of 1812 was a formal declaration of war with Congress.
Mm-hmm.
So Polk, okay, how can we get everyone
How can
to...
I get that? How can I create a situation where, and this at this time too, the press is really big. Like you have more. Like we have
We're seeing newspapers.
yeah, we have printing presses. We have thing a little newsboy on the corner, extra, extra. A whole bunch of people killed in Texas, and Polk plays this politics, and he plays the optics, and he says American blood has been shed on American soil by Mexico. We have to go to war. We're gonna annex Texas, and we're gonna stomp them. We're gonna go, and it works. So at this point, Mexico is like, you have thoroughly bamboozled us. You walked into our territory, pretended to do nothing, and then when we responded reasonably, you're using that as an excuse to fully unleash war. It's not like a Trail of Tears scenario, but it kind of is because of the like force disparity. Like Mexico had inferior technology. They had they were still using muskets. Like we had the U.S. Army was fully not fully, but industrialized for the time. We had rail systems. We had supply lines.
No, Mexico had no chance. I mean, they had like no money. They had no people. I mean, they're literally a brand new country and didn't even go about. Not that I don't know how you can go about it the right way, but didn't go about it in a way that gave them a chance against America.
No, it was
even at this point. We're still kind of early.
Yes.
In our but we've gone through a couple wars now, so we've figured out how to do
our
it.
time here. And honestly, the wars that we have been fought against Britain, like the biggest navy, not the best land power, but they have a lot of people.
We've been the underdog enough times.
Yes, time for us to get ours.
Yeah,
and it would be like in the War of 1812 if it had gone how the British kind of wanted it to, and they just surged everyone and took the entire country back. They could have done it, but there were factors that stopped it. That we didn't have those factors in the Mexican-American War. They had their cause. They declared war. Mexico never declared war against the United States.
That's true.
So, historical transparency.
To be fair.
To be fair. But yeah, once the attack on the Americans happened, we just let loose with both barrels, and it was a decisive war. It happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, with a lot of like I mentioned before. I mean, we had Zachary Taylor, huge 5-star general. Basically, I don't know if it's how official that is, but
the equivalent. He's like, the Eisenhower.
He's like the Grant, the Ulysses S. Grant
of the Mexican-American War,
and also coincidentally, Grant is a part of the regiment, and Robert E. Lee, and I wrote a few others down. There's McClellan.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Sherman.
Yeah. So you got like a lot of really famous, very respected generals of the Civil War that are just little cadets, and they're like, "All right,
aye, Captain,
Mr. Taylor, General Taylor." But what's interesting is Grant in particular was really he did his duties, but he was not favorable about this war, and didn't like how we kind of just escalated it.
Yeah, we started this war.
Yeah, well, obviously we started it, but in terms of like, okay, you put an offer to buy it, they said no, and then that's it. You don't want to try to do anything else. Like,
why don't you up the offer a little bit?
Yeah, up the offer, or maybe add something else, or maybe
not take everything, or piecemeal it.
Who knows? I don't know if anything would happen. We should probably it'd be a good segue to get into Santa Ana. If you want to talk about slimy politicians,
but before we get into that, now when Congress declared war, there was a young senator who brought up the point and was quickly shouted down. He brought up the point, like, weren't we technically on, like, as the map is drawn, where this ambush happened, isn't that Mexico? Who was that senator?
Ooh. Was he a future president?
Well, yes, he was.
Okay. It would have... I'm trying to think of who would have been... Rutherford B. Hayes or something?
No.
I'm trying to think of
No.
Oh, Lincoln?
It was Lincoln.
Okay.
He was Lincoln. And you know what?
I don't know. I thought it was a harder question.
No.
I couldn't see the forest through the trees.
I tried to tee you up and he's whiffed. No, it was Lincoln. Because Lincoln, he just had that he already had that mind of like right is right and wrong is wrong. He's obviously for America, but like, hey guys, if we're going to do this, we got to do it proper. But yeah, obviously it didn't take, but...
I mean, who knows? I mean, I know it's easy to just be against the thing that America is doing, but they're also that's two sides of someone who's like in Congress and someone with like boots on the ground
Mm-hmm.
that had that same. So maybe there's something there that
Yeah, and then they meet up again later
yeah,
and kind of do the same thing.
right.
So it's a match made in heaven.
But yeah, okay.
Santa
So
Anna.
Santa Anna. So he's the president off and on as in Mexico, and during the Cuban, all the stuff happening. I guess it wasn't even called Cuba yet, I don't think.
That's still Spain.
Yeah, it would just be Spain. Yeah.
Oh, they probably called it Cuba. It didn't come from nowhere, but it was Spain.
Okay. Anyway, so he gets exiled, and he's just like a super like corrupt like president politician. Really known for like stabbing people in the back and like underselling people who are supposed to be on his side and like all this stuff. So people get sick of him, and then they just throw him over the water to
Like, go over to that island.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to come back. And they're like, please don't. And he just sort of comes back and he's like, I'm in charge again.
Well, yes. Well, that's the fascinating thing. So because this war is about to happen, he gets in contact with Polk and says, "Hey, look, you know me. I was the old president. I really want to get back in power. So how about this? Help me get back to Mexico, and we'll work out a trade deal, and we'll just clean this whole thing up, put a nice ribbon on it. You guys get what you want. We get what we want. It's all good."
Oh, great deal.
Yeah.
That's a great, we should do that. Absolutely.
So yeah, fortunately, Polk takes the bait.
Sucker.
Yeah.
We're having a whole war.
So yeah, so he gets back and basically stages a coup to get the other president and gets a whole revolt of like a militia to overthrow the government. And
Which is exactly what you want right before war with America,
Yeah.
is to weaken yourself with a junta.
well, and think about how weak Mexico already is as a country that he was able to pull that off so quickly.
Yeah, it's like 40 guys and a mule.
And, and so
Did I get you?
yeah,
See a bunch of guys in sombreros.
yeah, and
It's a functional hat. I'm not being racist. It's a functional hat. It's very hot down there.
it's okay. We got canceled because I already posted the Will Witt
Oh, yeah.
thing. So.
Just cut that whole part about sombreros.
So he ends up just regaining control of the country and then says, "Psych, I'm not getting you anything, so what are you going to do about it?" And then
Kill you is what we're going to do.
we declared war, and then here we go. So yeah, not to make it seem like Mexico is just like, we're just trying to
Please,
be
we
our
just
own
want to
little
be a country.
Yeah.
A big bad America's like, no, give me your pueblos. And it's like, no, please. That's not what happened.
Well, he ends up like after the war happens, and we'll talk more about it and stuff, but I think he ends up like getting thrown out. He has a huge downfall basically.
Well,
Oh yeah, he fled, so he ends up just like bailing on everyone and leaves, and then tarnishes. I mean, he wouldn't have had a legacy, but he was,
Yeah. Hey, you came back in disgrace and overthrew the government and then lost 60% of our landmass
and then took off
and
in
then
the woods.
left. Like, great, you should.
It's weird that Santa Ana, California, like that's a city named about or by him or for him. I don't get that. Like it's like it's not even that. Not only does he just like have like no good standing legacy, but also he wasn't even like in America. I mean, this is all like it wasn't like California was already kind of established, or this is after the fact or anything.
No, it was basically nothing.
But yeah, so I'm like, why would you name a city after this guy that has like wasn't on our side, however you want to take that, and also like completely like betrayed his own starting country. I don't know. It's like the most like that's not the guy you name your city after.
It would be like if we named a major city Benedict Arnoldston.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, yeah. Or like, I mean, I guess there's places of like Jefferson Davis and stuff like that, but this is even like worse than that.
This is worse than that because at least they were principled. They were wrong and they lost, but they were principled.
Yeah.
Like Santa Ana was just he's just a slimy kind of guy. So
anyway, tangent over.
Tangent over, but it is important because Santa Ana is like the military general on the Mexican side. He is commanding those forces. He has other generals, but he's the main guy. Yep. So Zachary Taylor is the Giga Chad of the American Army, and he immediately goes to Palo Alto and just commences to destroying the Mexican army. Like, we have artillery, we're just bombarding them.
Was this when he goes to the West Coast?
No, this is
okay. So it was before that.
This is before that.
Okay.
He is like all of our generals. We have like military academies, so they learn strategy. They learn like take the high ground and this is flanking maneuvers and use artillery against this to soften the target instead of just like, I don't know, march in a straight line and poke them with sharp sticks until someone runs away. Like there was more tactics, and the Mexican army didn't have that. They didn't have much to begin with, but they didn't have tactics either. And so it was just a steamroll after a steamroll after a
They're
steamroll.
probably also in the same time, similar with like War of 1812 or stuff where they're fighting off native tribes
Yeah.
through there at the same time. So it's
Yes.
like they're getting hit from all directions, just like we did, but like they just didn't. There's another reason why they just didn't stand a
Yeah.
chance.
It was never good. It was an ego battle for sure. And I don't blame them because legally, on paper, like as crappy as their government was, as poor as their military was, and as disorganized as their government was, it was still legally their country. They had fought for independence against Spain and won. They Who knows what would have happened if they had. It's one of those things where like you look back and it's like if circumstances were different, could we have like a neighbor that rivaled us as far as landmass and power? Like if they had been able to settle like the Oregon Territory, Northern California, like that's good farmland all the way up there. If they had found gold in 1846 or 47, 48, 49, they would have gotten gold rich too. Like
Yeah.
if things had been different, if they had, but they also had different. I don't know. It's not. It's hard to make comparisons of like our founding fathers to the Mexican founding fathers.
I mean, yeah, it's a completely
It's a
different
different
philosophy.
It's a different philosophy,
Yeah.
a different cultural thing. Like imagine if John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, instead of like just having a nasty letter campaign, like Thomas Jefferson killed John Adams and took power over and like had a military coup and different states like seceded already and had a massive landmass so we couldn't manage it. Like it was a different circumstance with different people with different priorities and philosophies. So you can't really compare. But it is an interesting thought experiment of like, well, what would it have been like if they had similar and were able to expand? It's just interesting. But it wasn't that way. It was just too much land. They didn't have enough resources. They didn't dedicate enough resources to it. I mean, I'm sure they wanted to, but it's just imagine running a country and it's the Wild West is the entire country.
Yeah, right.
Like they had Mexico City, they had some big cities, but like it's so far away from everything else. Like
I know that's crazy that the borders stretched that far north. Like,
it's like a
have you even been over there? Like,
well, how do you? And they didn't have like a Lewis and like did they have a
Right.
Lewis and Clark to go see what's over
Yeah.
there?
I
Like
don't know.
I don't think so. So it's just it's a different
It just
scenario.
wasn't planned out.
It
the
wasn't
way-
planned out, and I don't know if they just needed more time or if they ever would have done it. We'll never know now, but it is what it is, and that's kind of why like I don't know, put this on Rumble, I guess, but like the like, oh, you stole this land from Mexico, and like
Yeah.
we're taking Mexico back. It's like, listen, man, you're talking like Central and Northern California. It's like it was Mexico on paper, sure, but did you have any sort of established governance structure? Like, how can you say that this is it yours if you can't defend it?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the oldest laws of, I mean, of people who believe in property rights. It's one of the oldest laws. It's like, it's not yours if you can't defend it.
Yeah. It was independent for like what, like 9 years,
Something like that.
and then like, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, then it goes into the, oh, really? You're native to the land? How far back does the
Yeah.
So it's
It's like, are you a Pueblo Indian? Like,
Yeah.
if so, then you have some, but then it's like 10 generations.
Yeah.
And then it's like, who did they take that land from? Like, it's not,
it's
it's
definitely
not,
using that same thing.
yes.
Yeah, that same argument just in their favor. And
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, you're a country for like 9 years, and now all of a sudden you're reclaiming the.
So you never really claimed it. Like,
Yeah.
if I just say that we tried it in 1812, like, we're taking Canada, and it didn't work. So, like, if we had taken Canada, would that be America now, or would that be stolen from Britain? Like,
Yeah.
pick your definition and be consistent, but it's not about consistency, it's about control. So, whatever, put that part on Rumble. But, like I said, Zachary Taylor, he starts holding them by the nose and kicking them in the ass, going down from Texas, trying to make his way down through to Mexico City. Now he gets redirected by Mr. President Polk, who rightly, turns out, ironically, sees Zachary Taylor as a political threat.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I don't know if I mentioned, but he does run as the Whig, so he's probably still like more like a Whig Party guy.
Yes. And so Polk reassigns him to if you think of Texas as down here and California all the way over here, he reassigns Taylor over to here and puts Winfield Scott, who is also a Whig, but is not like charismatic. He's sort of
Mm-hmm.
like a stuffy, kind of think like old Napoleonic warfare type of general. Still very competent, clearly, but not as much of a political threat as Zachary Taylor was. So Zachary Taylor continues his campaign in California, moving down that way. Winfield Scott takes the main central path towards Chapultepec and Mexico City. Any points in there?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting that it's I remember going when we did like the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many characters, so many guys, so many
Mm-hmm.
like this one that's kind of like you got your little small batch of
Mm-hmm.
Taylor and then uh Stonewall Jackson. No. Winfield.
Yeah, Winfield Scott.
Yeah, Winfield Scott and I know there was like a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head. But
I
anyway,
mean, those are the two main
yeah, it was
ones.
kind of just like a few guys that kind
Horatio Gates.
of we need to do a Horatio Gates episode
I
someday.
don't even care about Horatio Gates anymore. It was 100 years ago.
But yeah, so it's kind of just like a few guys were kind of able to like man, and yeah, obviously Polk is kind of pulling strings and be like, okay, actually, you're getting kind of weird, or
Yeah.
I want you to stage it. I just watched a coup happen with Mexico. I kind of don't want that to happen to me. So
Yeah. Hey, Santa Anna kind of screwed me over at the beginning of this war, and I don't want you to get any ideas.
yeah, right.
Because that worked actually for him, so we don't want that.
But yeah, but it's still kind of like it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah, it wasn't that. Obviously, people die, and war is war, and that's
Yeah.
messy, and you don't want people who shouldn't be caught in the crosshairs, and like, it's all difficult
Yeah.
and stuff. But it seemed pretty smooth sailing in terms of like the plan.
Yeah.
There wasn't like
Everything went
oh
according to
no,
plan.
we need to, it's not like George Washington where
Like,
it's
oh, we got Valley Forge, and then we crossed the Delaware, and we
Yeah.
turned the tide, and Mexico's like, we're gonna.
people weren't like getting fired
No.
or like it was kind of like okay let's do this cool that works okay let's do this that worked kind of okay Taylor why don't you go up there oh cool that worked okay and then it's just kind of like just slowly just ate out
Yeah.
all the pieces of the map until
Yeah.
so yeah anyway
So, Winfield Scott actually. So the Battle of Veracruz, it was the first U.S. amphibious landing. So they sail down to Veracruz and land there to establish a beachhead. They siege kind of the fortification there. But again, like we've got cannons and stuff, and we've got a lot of guys, and they're fairly well trained and equipped and well fed, and it's just not.
yeah we're not running on militias
No,
anymore.
we have a
We
formal army
yeah.
now, and we've gone through like 1812 was 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
so we have military leaders with experience. We've normalized relations more or less with Britain and France, so we can train and learn from them. We have trade open again. Our economy is back where we want it to be. It's still kind of taking a hit, but it's getting better. It just keeps going. It keeps working. So now we're in 1847, and Winfield Scott is at Chapultepec, which is like a big castle, and it's right outside Mexico City. So it's like the fortification, and if you can take that, then you basically take Mexico City.
right yeah
And it's an interesting story. So the Mexican army is basically down to just like kids. Like think I'm not comparing them ideologically, but think like end stage war, World War II in Germany, where like the SS and all the officers like they have either left or they're dead. So we're down to like cadets.
yeah that's
So-
right I guess we haven't mentioned there was a lot of the Mexican army that was just deserting
Yeah.
he just didn't care
Yeah, we're getting steamrolled, and I don't want to die for a patch of desert.
yeah
I don't, and I don't like Santa Ana,
yeah you're right
and I'm not paid
yeah yeah
because we don't have money or guns or ammunition or food. So like, I don't want this. And so Winfield Scott marches on Chapultepec. They again steamroll it, and it's kind of a sad story. There's still, I think there's a monument in Mexico City. What do they call it? Los Niños Heroes. So the child heroes.
okay
So basically, the they're like 13, 14, 15, and they fight to the death.
Mm.
They like wrap themselves in the Mexican flag and jump off the castle walls like to their death rather than being captured by the Americans. So they're considered war heroes in Mexico, and it's, I mean, I don't know, man. Like they are kids. It's, and I don't. There's stories where like Winfield Scott didn't realize that there were kids there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we're being shot at, so we're just gonna shoot back. So I get that, but like you said, it's just like one of the horrors of war.
Yeah.
And like you think of a 15-year-old who's like all ginned up on like national pride and like you're defending the capital city, and but they don't have the perspective to think like I don't even like Santana. Like he's kind of a scumbag,
Yeah.
and
Indoctrination.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is, and it's really sad. Like you can respect the courage that someone that young has, um, but you can also look at it as like, yeah, you shouldn't have been in that position
Yeah.
at all. Like you should have surrendered.
I mean,
Like
yeah, that's the subject of child soldiers and, you
yeah,
know, I mean,
yeah, like
all
you're
around the world. And
you're not in a position to make the decision to like, I believe in this cause, like, and I fully understand it, so I'm gonna fight for it. Like, you tell a kid whatever story you want to tell them, and then
Mhm.
give them a gun and say that they're a hero if they do this, they're gonna do it. What does Napoleon say? Like, you can motivate people by giving them medals. Like, you can make them walk to their death if you say you're gonna get a piece of tin on your
Yeah.
chest. Like, it's yeah, it's a nasty taking advantage of the human spirit where you want to do the right thing and you want to be loyal and you want to be courageous because those are all good things, but then you twist it and manipulate them into doing things that they
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing. So,
You want to be courage and devout to someone who doesn't care if
yeah.
you live or not.
Yeah, he doesn't care and like he's not going to die himself. He
Yeah.
skips town like
You're right. He just leaves.
so like so much for your freaking honor, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Mexico City's captured basically the next day. There's no opposition. Like there's no soldiers. There's nothing left. Like you took their base. We're done.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that goes to show. I mean, we could have taken. We probably could have taken the whole country.
Honestly, well, I mean,
I didn't think about that till now.
no. Like you could have the American army could have gone in a line and marched through the entire country of Mexico, continued down into central,
Yeah.
like
Right.
southern Mexico, down towards
Panama.
Panama and all
Yeah.
that. They could have done that. They took out the command and control center of the country. The government is scattered. There is no army anymore. There wasn't much of one to speak of in the beginning, but yeah, it was done. It was done in like 18 or 19 months.
Yeah.
And so the dust settles. Polk says, "Okay, here's the new borders," and he redraws the border basically where they are now. So the Rio Grande is the border of Texas to Mexico. They cut down, taking California all the way up to the 54th parallel, which belongs to Britain through Canada. But they don't go south past that. They let Mexico be modern day Mexico, and they pay, was it 15 million?
Yeah. They pay off the debt that Mexico owed to Spain
Mm-hmm.
during the whole revolution of what was already going on beforehand. So yeah, just assumed all the debt
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of all right,
And we're done. Interesting story. So the
which was like half of what
it's
we
half
were.
of what we offered them.
Yeah, it's half of what we offered them.
So and that treaty was the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo,
Yep. I think 1848.
1848.
Yep.
So Mexico lost 525,000 square miles, and so
Yeah.
and that completed Manifest Destiny. We have established landmass from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Not all of North America, but plenty of it.
Yeah.
That's plenty of it. The interesting thing about the treaty, the ambassador was recalled by Polk because he didn't really believe in his like he. What was his name? I have to look up his name. It was like
Nicholas Trist.
yeah, Nicholas Trist. So Nicholas Trist he was the one who took the treaty to the Mexican government, such as it was, to formally end the war. But Polk had tried to recall him to negotiate the deal himself, probably to try to get more land and
Yeah.
not pay them for winning a war.
Okay, so yeah, he was the war negotiator.
Yes.
For it. Okay.
So
Oh, okay. So he wanted part of the negotiation was also getting Baja California,
Mm.
so the that strip
Yeah.
of Mexico, like in between the yeah. Um, we all know what we're talking about. That
You,
little
you know, the little thing. Put it up on the screen.
yeah.
You got a lot of graphics work to
Yeah,
do.
it's just going to be a lot of the same map, just with me with circles and arrows.
We're just gonna keep it in the bottom corner of
Yep.
this entire thing. Just refer to the map down there. Yeah, it straightforward war. Um,
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
I
and
didn't
I
look up the
guess
total losses on either side, but it was pretty one sided.
yeah, it's kind of one of
It
those.
was
It's
pretty
like
one
doesn't
sided.
matter.
That doesn't really matter. Um, yeah, it war ends. Zachary Taylor, even though he was moved and didn't like win the war by capturing Mexico City, he still became a true war hero. Like being moved, he was like, "Fine, I'll just win over here. Doesn't matter to me." Um, yeah,
Okay, yeah. So sorry, Trist was trying to get Polk was his instructions was yeah okay the like I mentioned okay I wasn't sure whose side the Baja California part. Polk wanted that and probably wanted the line to be drawn
lower.
lower, and so um, it's kind of just like look, you wanted Mexico, it's at the bottom of the thing.
Yeah,
Let's just
you
make it
you get
like
Mexico, be done. Just draw the line from the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Just draw it across.
yeah.
There you go. We're done.
And
Like,
then
don't you have enough? You have enough.
I mean yeah, it seems like Polk was like okay fine,
Yeah,
take the 15 mil, and
I won.
yeah, and hey, there's that gold over there, and
It-
then the gold rush starts.
and then the gold rush starts, and that's the beginning of the real Wild West.
Yeah. And then yeah, so I guess that pretty much covers it. Obviously, we'll cover part of Zachary Taylor, but this is kind of the start of this is really I mean all history is connected,
Yeah,
but now you can like really see like whoa, the Civil War is actually taking shape because now all these new states are going to start getting added very very quickly.
yeah. Texas,
Yeah, there's Texas,
Wisconsin,
yeah,
like either Ohio or Iowa
Yeah,
or something like
Iowa,
that. Then you have Oregon, Washington, California. Those came later,
it was like set up, yeah,
but the setup for the territories, because there's a process for statehood. Like you have to become a territory first,
right.
have a government and a constitution, and then apply for statehood. So you can't just be like, draw the line here, and we're a state now, and we have slaves. Like there was a bigger process, but it set the wheels in motion for. I mean, we'll see like Bleeding Kansas and
Yep.
all that stuff,
Right.
like where it just like people's heads are getting cut off with swords because they really want slaves, and the other people really don't want slaves. But yeah, this is what 1847, 1849.
Yeah, we're about a
50, yeah, we're
decade.
15, no
Well,
less.
49. Yeah, we're about a decade away from the Civil War now. So we're gonna have a string of lame duck presidents who either do nothing or like make the problem worse.
Yeah, they make it worse by doing nothing.
Yeah, by doing it. But I mean, even Franklin Pierce, the Bleeding Kansas.
Yeah, they're like, well, that's the law, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, as
Guess-
precursor, I guess. We have the Missouri Compromise, where it's new states added to slave state, next new state, non-slave state. So Franklin Pierce kind of gets rid of that and says it's just you just vote on it.
Yeah,
You
let
just
the states decide.
And it sounds on paper like it would work out, but then you have a bunch of really intense, violent lobbying coming in, and all these people swarm Kansas, and
John
threaten,
Brown and
threaten
them.
to make it a slave state, and so it just like heats the temperature up.
Yeah.
So, but not quite there yet. But it's definitely starting to come. We kind of have the shape of the country.
Yes, we have the fullness of the country.
Yeah.
We have a lot more at stake. We have well-trained and now experienced generals and soldiers who fought in those wars and now will lead soldiers. And yeah, I try to think like if any of the presidents between Zachary Taylor and Lincoln, if they had just, I mean, I don't know, because Lincoln, we'll get into it. There's too many things. But like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
someone had done something, I don't think we could have avoided a civil war, but
Maybe it would have
the
been less.
scale would have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
less. But like the whole, like once you get into Bleeding Kansas and it's like, just let the states decide. Well, anyone can move to a state, so that's just what they did. They just moved everyone in. I live in Kansas now, and I get to vote, and I think Kansas should be a slave state. Isn't that convenient? You came from Virginia.
Yeah. Well, it's
2
kind of
weeks ago.
It's the danger of like states having too much power. It's like the
It's
reverse
direct
effect.
democracy.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, if we can vote on this, then well, we'll just vote to secede, and then that starts, But
Yeah, the threat of secession was like, who was it? Was it Zachary Taylor or was it Franklin Pierce or
It was
something.
James Buchanan.
Buchanan is like, we're gonna secede. And it's like, I'm gonna come hang all of you, and they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's like, you're right, I'm not, I guess.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna do what we want.
Too much democracy starts happening. But
We need some fascism.
Yeah.
We've got too much democracy. We need someone to come in, suspend habeas corpus, and deprive Americans of their property rights. That's what we need. Lincoln.
Continued. Yep. Gosh. Okay. I think that probably covers
That's
it. I think
that's plenty.
we have milked this cow dry. So.
Yeah. We're gonna have a mega episode of all 6
Yes,
lame duck presidents.
I think we are.
We're just gonna boom, 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 and then I need to watch Gettysburg.
Yeah. I need to watch Lincoln.
I need to watch that one again.
Maybe we'll do a review on that. But...
We will do a review on that.
Okay. Before this stretches out too long. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Sorry about the dog shit podcast. We love it. We're not gonna stop.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.